My name is Laura. I am 38 years old. I work in a small bookstore in the city. My life was quiet and simple. I lived alone in a small apartment. I did not have many friends. I never married. Sometimes I felt lonely, but I told myself I was strong and independent. One day, a new worker came to the bookstore. His name was Daniel. He was 26 years old. He had bright eyes and a warm smile. He was kind to customers and polite to everyone. When he spoke to me for the first time, I felt nervous. I did not understand why. Daniel respected me. He often asked for my advice. He said, "You are very smart, Laura. I learn a lot from you." His words made me happy. No one had spoken to me like that before. At first I told myself, he is just being nice. But slowly, we began to talk more. We had lunch together in the small kitchen at work. We shared stories about our lives. He told me about his dreams. He wanted to travel and start his own business one day. I told him about my quiet life. I told him I once wanted to become a writer, but I was too afraid to try. He listened carefully. He said, "It is not too late." One evening, it was raining heavily. The streets were wet and dark. Daniel offered to walk me home. I felt shy, but I said yes. We walked under one umbrella. Our shoulders touched. My heart beat fast. That night, I could not sleep. I kept thinking about him. I knew he was younger than me, 12 years younger. I told myself it was wrong to feel this way. But feelings do not always listen to reason. Days turned into weeks. We laughed together. We shared secrets. I began to feel alive again. For the first time in many years, I felt beautiful. One afternoon, he held my hand. It was soft and warm. He looked into my eyes and said, "Age is just a number." At that moment, I made a choice. I chose to follow my heart. And that was the beginning of everything. Our relationship began quietly. We did not tell anyone at work. We wanted to keep it private. Daniel said people would judge us because of our age difference. At first, everything felt perfect. He sent me sweet messages every morning. He called me my beautiful Laura. When he looked at me, I felt young again. We went to small cafes after work. We sat in quiet corners and talked for hours. Sometimes he held my hand across the table. I felt safe with him. But slowly, small doubts began to grow in my heart. Daniel often checked his phone. Sometimes he smiled at messages and quickly turned the screen away from me. When I asked him who he was talking to, he said, "Just friends." One evening, I saw a young woman waiting outside the bookstore. She was pretty and confident. She waved at Daniel. He looked surprised when he saw her. He told me she was just an old friend from university. I tried to believe him. But something felt wrong. He started canceling our plans. He said he was busy. He said he needed space. When I asked if something was wrong, he kissed my forehead and said, "You worry too much." I wanted to trust him. I did not want to lose him. One night, I decided to visit his apartment without telling him. I wanted to surprise him with dinner. I stood outside his door. I heard laughter inside. A woman's laughter. My hands began to shake. The door was not fully closed. I gently pushed it open. And there he was. Daniel was sitting on the couch with the same young woman from outside the bookstore. She was very close to him. Too close. He looked shocked when he saw me. The room became silent. My heart broke in that quiet moment. I could not speak. I could not cry. I simply turned around and walked away. Behind me, I heard him calling my name. But I did not stop. That night, I understood something very painful. Love can be sweet, but secrets can destroy everything. The next morning, Daniel came to my apartment. He knocked on my door again and again. I did not want to see him, but I needed answers. When I opened the door, his eyes were red. He said it was not what I thought. He said the girl was just a friend. He said nothing happened. But I saw the truth with my own eyes. I asked him one simple question. "Do you love her?" He did not answer. His silence was louder than any words. Tears ran down my face. I felt foolish. I felt ashamed. I remembered how I ignored the signs. I remembered how I defended him in my mind. He finally spoke. He said he cared about me, but he also felt confused. He said he was young. He said he was not ready for something serious. His words hurt more than betrayal. I realized something important. I wanted stability. I wanted honesty. I wanted a future. But he wanted freedom. We were not in the same place in life. He held my hands and said he did not want to lose me. He said we could still be together. But I knew it would never be the same. Trust is like glass. Once it breaks, it can never be perfect again. I gently pulled my hands away. I told him I deserved respect. I told him love without honesty is not real love. He looked sad, but he did not fight for me. That told me everything. At work, things became uncomfortable. We avoided each other. Customers noticed the tension. After 2 weeks, Daniel resigned from the bookstore. The day he left, he said goodbye quietly. He looked at me one last time. There was regret in his eyes. But regret does not fix a broken heart. When he walked away, I felt empty. But I also felt stronger. Because sometimes, losing someone is the first step to finding yourself. The weeks after Daniel left were difficult. I cried often. I blamed myself. I asked, was I too old? Was I not enough? But slowly, I began to see clearly. The problem was not my age. The problem was his dishonesty. I started writing again. Every night, I wrote in my journal. I wrote about love. I wrote about pain. I wrote about strength. Writing helped me heal. One day, I sent one of my short stories to an online magazine. I did not expect anything. But 2 weeks later, I received an email. They wanted to publish my story. I cried again, but this time they were happy tears. Daniel once told me it was not too late to follow my dreams. In a strange way, he was right. Our relationship ended, but it taught me something important. Love should not make you feel insecure. Love should not make you doubt your worth. Love should be honest. Now, when I look in the mirror, I do not see a woman who was betrayed. I see a woman who was brave enough to love. And brave enough to walk away. Maybe one day, I will love again. But next time, I will choose someone who chooses me completely. Because I finally understand something very simple. Age is just a number. But respect is everything. And I will never accept less again.